All right, first graders. So, this is the story we are going to be reading for shared reading this week called Jane Goodall, Friend of the Forest, written by Christina Wilsden. So, if you look at the cover of this book, it looks like that is a photograph, a real picture of a lady hugging a little chimpanzee. So, before we get started, we are going to go ahead and go through these vocabulary words that we are going to come across as we are reading. All right, the first word is chimpanzees, and that is a mid-sized great apes that live in Africa and spend their time on the ground and in trees. Curious means wanting to know or learn about something. Notes, a written record of things that happen or are said. Peered, looked closely or with difficulty at something. Scientist, a person who studies one or more fields of science. Studied, worked at something. And that is it. All right. So, as we read this story today, I want you to have your schema activated, thinking about what do you already know about chimpanzees? Have you heard of this lady, Jane Goodall, before? All right. So, let's go ahead and start reading. Jane Goodall hid in the hen house. She was 5 years old and very curious. She wanted to see how the hens laid eggs. She watched them quietly. Jane was curious about other animals too. She looked for them wherever she went. She watched them quietly. Observation. Scientists use their senses to find out more about the world. Ask these questions when you watch quietly like Jane did. What did you see? What did you hear? And what did you smell? Jane's mother found earthworms in Jane's bed once. Jane had to take them back to the dirt quickly or they would have died. When Jane grew up, she became a scientist. She went to Africa to study wild chimpanzees in the forests of Gombe. Jane would gain the trust of some of the chimpanzees she studied. And here's a map of Africa, and that is showing you that little star right in there where Jane was. Jane climbed hills to look for the chimpanzees. She peered at them through binoculars. She watched them quietly. Soon Jane learned facts about chimpanzees that other scientists did not know. Scientists thought chimpanzees ate only plants. A young chimpanzee uses a tool to get termites to eat. Jane saw that chimpanzees eat meat too. She also saw chimpanzees use sticks as tools. They used the sticks for catching insects. Jane saw chimpanzees fight furiously. She also saw chimpanzees treat each other gently. They hugged each other and cuddled their babies. Jane took notes about everything she saw. And if you look down here, it says chimpanzee personality chart. And this is the chimpanzee's name, whether it was a male or a female, and their personality. So David Graybeard was a male. He was calm and gentle. Flo was a female, and she was a wonderful mother, tough as nails. Gigi was also a female, and she was large and strong. Mike was a male. He was clever and brave. Ollie was a female, and she was shy and timid. Fifi was also a female, and she was curious and fearless. Jane named the chimps that she watched. She wrote about how each chimp acted. Jane studied the chimpanzees for many years. She watched them quietly. The chimpanzees watched Jane, too. Some of them visited her camp. They even explored her tent. Jane also saw that people were chopping down many trees. The people needed firewood for cooking. They needed land for growing food. Jane worried that the forests would disappear. Then where would the chimpanzees live? Jane knew she could not just watch quietly. She wanted to help save the forests, so she talked with the people near Gombe. Together, they decided to plant trees that would grow quickly. Now, the people could grow their own wood instead of chopping down the forests. Jane's Take Care program teaches people about trees that grow quickly. People near Gombe Forest practice what they learn in tree nurseries like this. The people also learned to use the farmland better. They planted crops that grew well in poor soil. Now they could use the same land over and over again. They even planted crops that grew best in the shade of forests. A woman waters plants in a tree nursery. There she learns about taking care of the forests near Gombe Forest. Today, Jane visits countries around the world. She eagerly tells people everywhere about forests and animals. So this is in South Carolina, this is in Singapore, and this is in Mississippi. Still, every year she visits Gombe to see the chimpanzees and watch them quietly. All right, and that is it. So for today, you just had to listen to that, and then tomorrow we will do a little activity with it.